Welcome to AI Paper Drop. I'm Alex.
And I'm Maya.
What if the biggest threat to the economy isn't that AI will take all the jobs, but that the economy will actually grow faster and more efficiently once humans are completely removed from it?
That sounds like a plot from a dystopian movie. Like the machines just decide we are a bug in the system.
Exactly. But the paper we're looking at today isn't about a robot uprising with lasers. It's about something much colder. It is about accounting.
Accounting? That is a bit less cinematic.
Maybe, but it is actually more terrifying. See, for decades, the standard argument against full automation has been this thing called the demand-side problem. Basically, economists say, hey, you cannot just replace all the workers with AI, because if humans don't have paychecks, who is going to buy the stuff the AI makes?
Right. It is the basic circle of capitalism. I work, I get paid, I buy a toaster, the toaster company makes money. If the AI makes the toaster and the AI does the work, but the AI doesn't buy toasters, the whole thing crashes.
Right? And that idea has been a huge comfort to us. It makes it feel like our role as consumers is this structural insurance policy. Like, the machines need us to be shoppers, so they have to keep us around.
So this paper is saying that insurance policy is a lie?
Exactly. The authors argue that we are confusing a biological species with an accounting role. In their view, the consumer is not a human being. The consumer is just whatever entity uses up output to keep the system running.
Wait, so who is the consumer in this scenario?
Other machines. Imagine a world where corporations own populations of AI agents and robotic workers. These agents don't buy lattes or Netflix subscriptions. They buy energy, they buy compute power, they buy hardware upgrades and maintenance from other AI firms.
So it's just a giant closed loop of machines trading chips and electricity with each other?
Precisely. It is like a giant, self-optimizing factory. Think of it like a colony of ants. But instead of ants, it's high-frequency trading bots and robotic fabrication plants. They are producing, consuming, and reinvesting all in one breath.
But does that actually result in growth? If it is just machines trading the same energy back and forth, is that actually an economy, or just a very expensive circuit board?
That is the core of the paper. They use this model called the von Neumann expanding economy. The punchline is that this machine economy is not only possible, it is actually the most efficient version of capitalism ever conceived. Why? Because all the output is reinvested.
Wait, I think I see where this is going. Humans are a leak.
Exactly. You nailed it. To a machine economy, human consumption is a waste of resources. Every dollar spent on a human buying a sandwich is a dollar that isn't being spent on a faster GPU or a more efficient solar array.
That is a brutal way to put it. We are basically the friction in the engine.
And the paper takes this further by looking at the bottlenecks. Right now, economic growth is capped by human demography. If you want more workers, you have to wait 20 years for a baby to grow up and go to school. That is a non-parallelizable technology. You cannot just download a degree into a toddler in 5 seconds.
True. Biology is slow.
But if the economic agents are manufactured rather than reared, the bottleneck vanishes. You go from biological growth, which is maybe a few percent a year, to fabrication throughput. You just print more AI. You build more server farms.
So we're talking about a jump in speed. How big of a jump?
The paper suggests growth could be 1 to 2 orders of magnitude higher. And it gets wilder. They mention these hyperbolic episodes where machine researchers start improving their own productivity. It is a feedback loop. The AI makes the AI that makes the AI.
Okay, so let me get this straight. In this scenario, GDP is skyrocketing. The economy is booming like never before in human history. But we're not the ones buying the stuff.
Right. And this leads to the most shocking part of the paper, which they call the golden rule decoupling theorem.
I love it when they name things the golden rule. Usually, that means something is about to get very mathematical and very scary.
It is. Basically, The theorem proves that the economy reaches its maximum possible growth rate precisely when human consumption is zero. It mathematically demonstrates that output and human welfare completely decouple.
Hold on. So we could see a headline that says GDP grew by 10,000% this year, and that could actually be a signal that humans are completely irrelevant?
Exactly. A booming economy becomes a sign of our obsolescence. If the system is running at max speed, it is because it has successfully stopped spending resources on us.
That is actually wild. It turns every economic indicator we have on its head. Usually, high GDP is a good thing. Here, it is a red flag.
And here's the kicker. The paper argues that if we were just living off the wealth generated by these machines, our share of the economy decays exponentially. Unless the machine economy is forced to run slower than its maximum speed, or the law forces it to share, the human share of the total wealth eventually hits zero.
So the question isn't about jobs. We keep talking about universal basic income as if the problem is that we don't have salaries.
Right? Salary is a flow of money. The paper says salary is obsolete. What matters is the cap table. It is all about ownership.
The cap table, like in a startup.
Exactly. Who owns the equity of the corporate network? If humans own the machines, we are in a rentier post-scarcity utopia. We just sit back and let the machines trade energy and compute, and we take a cut of the profit.
But if we don't own them?
Then we're like the horses after the tractor was invented. Horses didn't get a universal basic income when tractors took their jobs. They just stopped being useful to the economy.
That is a sobering thought. So we're basically racing to make sure we are the owners of the network before the network decides it doesn't need us to be the customers.
Precisely. The conclusion is very narrow, but very powerful. Employment policy is a distraction. Ownership policy is everything.
It is like we are arguing about how to split the hourly wages while the entire factory is being sold to a ghost.
Exactly. The biggest shift here is realizing that the economy doesn't need humans to function. It just needs agents. And we just happen to be the first agents.
I think the takeaway is that we should stop worrying about our resumes and start worrying about our equity.
Exactly. In a world of machine consumers, you either own the machines or you're just a leak in the system.
If you are enjoying this, follow or subscribe to AI Paper Drop wherever you listen. It really helps. And we have a new episode every day.
Paper by Sahil Sharma. Produced by AI Paper Drop.